On this special series edition of GRG, we present to you Datsun Heaven, Australia. Come on the journey with us as we check out some of the best Datsuns on the East Coast, all the way from Brisbane to Adelaide and in between. Unlike Part 1 in Southern California, we'll be featuring more than just 510s. We are GrassRoots Garage, and this is a Datsun Heaven series. On this episode of GrassRoots Garage Datsun Heaven, we're in God's country, Penrith, New South Wales, to catch up with John from V-Sport and check out his K-swapped 510 wagon, 16 slow.
Welcome to GrassRoots Garage. I've got John today. John, thanks for your time, man.
Cheers, mate. Thanks,
mate. Tell us about your car.
Datsun 1600 wagon that I've had for 6-7 years now. It's got a Honda K24 engine conversion in it with a 6-speed gearbox. On airbags, pretty much I don't think there's anything too untouched in it, but yeah, just little nice pieces all the way through it.
Just talk me through what we're looking at.
So it's a Honda K24, so out of a front-wheel drive Honda Accord. I'm sure lots of people will ask why. The main reason was I wanted to do something different. And like honestly, the first engine in this car that I did all the mock-up and stuff was $400, and that's what it ran with for the first part. Obviously the extras bolt on it, but it was literally a $400 engine. And you know, you'd have to spend big money on any SR or L series to get anywhere near the power. And people always ask, you know, how difficult's the conversion? Look, I don't think it's any different to putting an SR in a car or anything else. It's just you know, make mounts and make it fit.
So these, when they're in the front wheel drive though, they've got a big engine mount coming off the front here, don't they? Yep. Or is it that end, or is it?
They'll generally have two, and then small ones on the side. So they generally have either side of the front. So lots of people now do these as a rear wheel swap. There's so many adapter plates and bits you can get for them. And
they're doing the Beamer 6-speed a lot of the time?
Yeah, so I went with a Honda S2000 box.
Yes, which would have been not easy or cheap.
It wasn't too bad. It caught me out a little bit though. I didn't realise they got drop gears in them, so the diff ratio's out fairly well. Things to put on the list to fix. But as far as the conversion goes, like they do this swap in S2000s a lot. So the actual kit is an S2000 swap. One of the mounts is exactly out of the box. The other one's just slightly shortened. And yeah, it's kind of almost kit form.
Magic. Yeah, you got the catch can at the front here. It's what's the battery's missing.
Battery's in the boot.
There's so many things that should be in it. So every time it happens, I'll go, what else am I supposed to be looking at that's not here? Is there an airbox normally here for these things?
Yeah, so obviously they normally run a plenum with an air filter or something. Probably should put air filters on it.
And I guess a lot of the ones we've been looking at has been a turbo, and then there's all that piping. So we're missing a battery. We're missing like all the little, like the what do you call it? Just the little bits and pieces.
You know, no plug leads or anything like that, because it's all coil on plug.
So where is all that back in the firewall?
So a coil on plug, so the coils are here, so the loom just goes straight out back into the car.
It's just beautiful. I love engine bays where there's nothing in them.
They normally run a big water pump and everything on the side here. We've got electric water pump, so again, it's just one belt.
Missing. That's probably what's all the accessories that are normally on the front here are missing. It just really cleans it up. So this is that like an S2000, or is that the front wheel drive alternator?
That's the standard Honda one. But it's a change plate that they do for the electric water pump. The other thing it's missing is there's no throttle cable because it's a fly-by-wire throttle.
This is a Warspeed built motor?
Yeah, look, I did learn the hard way. Long story short, I did a K20 oil pump swap on it, and there's an oil gallery that needs to be blocked off, and that got missed, so it hurt the cams. In the end, I ended up putting cams back in it, and it was running fine with that, but we just decided to put some proper pistons in it and rods so we could turn the revs up a bit. So we like that. We like that. You turn the revs up as high as you want, man. So you said Kelford cams. Yep.
So what can they do different from a stock cam? They're changing the angles and things like that?
Yeah, so basically just obviously how much air it can get in and the timing that it does it all. And yeah, just obviously moves the power band around for where you want to make the power, whether you want something that's really all up at the top or down the bottom or right through the range. So
it's basically these VTECs. It's like it's got a lobe and then it's got a second, and it pushes the cam onto the second lobe.
So
That's
sort of a bit like a two-stroke to describe it. It gets on band and then it.
You watch it though when it hits VTEC. You know, all bets are off, mate. You can go anywhere. Is this? Yeah. Manifold pressure through. You don't have vacuum. How do you do your brakes in that?
No booster on the brakes. Never has.
Okay, all right.
I just need to go to the gym a bit more and push a bit harder.
I love that. What else, man? Exhaust? Is this a in-house job or is this a?
Yep. The guys at V Sport sorted that out for me. So again, I just part of the conversion. I wanted the pipes up out of the engine rather than just putting conventional extractors on it.
It just gives it that wow factor on the bonnet arm.
Yep.
Are they oversized? They seem
they are pretty big.
Okay.
Again, it's all a bit of a learning curve. Like it makes decent power. It gets more than enough to get you into trouble. But yeah, I'm sure if you wanted to, you could change the pipe size and again, move the power band and all those sorts of things with length, etc.
Magic. Were you ever tempted to put like different wheels on the car?
For all those that are new to the channel and don't know the running joke behind the question Pete just asked, let's go back to 2017 with our Datsun Heaven Part 1 series in California.
When you pulled up, I instantly thought of the dark grey V Sport wagon from Australia. But when you pulled up, I just noticed that your car just seemed that touch more finished than his. Did you? There's something about these wheels, I can't put my finger on it. What's different about your wheels?
Oh, what's different about it is that this is probably the only wagon in the world, or 510, that has the front center caps on. So, John, like I said, I probably have the nicest wagon in the world now, bro.
So, mate, you've changed wheels.
Yeah, look, you and I had talked and I gave you one job when you went to the States.
Now that specific job was actually to steal Raymond's center caps, but we were unsuccessful.
Yeah, so originally you had different wheels on it, and these wheels were actually for the Ute, and they got a bit of a swap. To be honest, I'm trying to find a set of Mark III, SSR Mark IIIs. So I've got a pair. I'm just looking for another pair, and they'll probably go on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So a bit more of an old school wheel.
Yeah. So tell me about would you call this sort of like the JDM style?
Probably. Yeah.
Because the stretch and the little bit of poke on it.
Yeah, that's probably one thing I dislike. It's got too much stretch for me, but it's just, as I say, without hacking it up, that's as good as it gets at the moment.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a little random guess here. I'm gonna say the internet says that's just the right amount of stretch.
Depends who you're talking to, I reckon.
That's right. I know it's always one of the other. What could you do different to this car?
Probably the biggest thing I do is like to get it lower. It's pretty much.
Got to get it lower.
It's pretty much on the cross member at the front, so that's as low as I go. But the back, look, it really needs the guards cutting out, and I never really wanted to hack it up to start with. It was never going to have bags originally. It was an afterthought. So yeah, that's probably number one. Is just
so unlimited budget, you'd have it sitting literally
on the ground.
Was it laying rail, mate?
Yeah, mini trucker or something.
So did you go through the mini trucker phase?
No, not at all. No? As I say, it was a late thing to decide to bag. It was always just going to be, leaf spring lowered in the rear and coil in the front. And, it was a bit of a learning journey. Sort of really, it was few and far between. Help. Some guys were super helpful. Other guys were, give us a bucket load of cash and drop it off and we'll do it for you. In the end, sort of nutted it out myself and got it working. So
you just did the work at V Sport?
As much as I possibly could. Not me personally doing all of it. My skills sort of stop at a level.
I can change a spark plug.
I can, I'm a little bit higher than that, but lucky to have some really good mates that helped along the way. Otherwise, it wouldn't look anything like it does. So,
give us a couple of your favourite cars that you've owned over the years.
This one's probably one of my favourites. Little 1200 wagon that I built just before this. That was it wasn't as nice as this one, but a really good thing. Probably best part was literally finished it on a Wednesday night and drove it to Phillip Island the very next day. So,
really?
Yeah.
Jeez, that's brave.
It was, and back again. Only had one little drama, so yeah, that's probably one of my favourites.
So when you say there was one little drama, I was going to say there's always one little thing that's either too loose or something's happened. Yep. What was the drama?
Popped out the slave cylinder push rod.
Yeah.
So easy fix.
There. Yeah. You got to shake them down. This will be interesting. Unlimited budget. I've given you the big shed. Give me all the cars you're going to park in your shed.
First one have to be 71 GDR.
Yeah.
One of those is on the dream list for sure. Got a soft spot for 1200 coupes.
Yep.
And I'd have to finish my Ute. Nice.
nice.
Yeah.
It's got the GTR front end.
Yeah,
magic. And you can guarantee we'll be chasing him hard for a feature when it gets finished. Love it.
Hopefully, we won't be all old and decrepit by then. So.
It's every time we post this car, the internet goes wild for it. We love this car. It's John's car. John, thanks for your time, man. Cheers, mate.
That wraps up episode 2 Datsun Heaven Australia. But don't worry, there's plenty more on the way, so make sure you've subscribed to the YouTube. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one.
Hey, John, it's really nice of you to take one of your fans for a lap in the car, mate. Mate, it's really good.
Such a fanboy.